Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of the Everything Matters podcast. I'm your host, Bradford Speaks, also the founder and CEO of BeLegendary.coach, a performance coaching and leadership development company. So my guest on this episode of the podcast is going to be a gentleman by the name of Jared Psych Laurence. And if you stay tuned in, you'll understand why his middle name, or not real name, but his nickname is Psych. Jared is an international motivational speaker. He's a CEO of a company by the name of Modern Success. He's the author of 2 books, How to Meet Your Dream Girl Tonight and The Psychology of Modern Flirting. Jared's a trained therapist as well as a globally recognized lifestyle consultant and dating mentor. For more than 20 years, Jared has been voted the best new dating mentor, received numerous awards from others in his industry, taught over 20,000 students from around the world, and is credited with preventing dozens of suicides and causing more than 400 marriages that he knows of. Jared's been featured in seminars and popular media, including MTV's Made, Oxygen's Bad Girls Club, A&E Documentary Born This Way, The Great Love Debate, ABC's Nightline, and many other media outlets. Modern Success is one of the most successful dating companies in the U.S. He's been mentoring guys of all ages, income brackets, and social statuses for the last 2 decades. His team has helped more than 6,000 clients and students meet incredible women from around the world to date and just have an amazing life with. So please join me in welcoming my very special guest today to this episode of the Everything Matters podcast, Mr. Jared Psych Laurence. Let's get it popping. Jared, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Everything Matters podcast, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to be on here as my guest. This is been an amazing journey to try to get you on here. Your business has been picking up. It's been going crazy for you, which I'm so happy and thrilled for that, man. But it's been tough to get you on the schedule. So thank you for making time out of your busy day to be here with us on the podcast, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad we were able to make it work.
Absolutely. Well, look, man, first thing I do typically, Jared, on the podcast is I want my guests to get a chance to know who you are. Everybody who watches the show, they know that I want people to know, have a kind of an intimate connection with my guests. So start out, and I find it very interesting to see where people are from, because it gives you a good sense of maybe some things about them, not completely accurate, but at least it gives some people a sense of where you're from, maybe what you might be culturally and things like that. So tell us where you grew up, man, what childhood life was like for you, and just tell us a bit about yourself.
Great parents, great family, all that, upper middle class childhood, no complaints there. Socially awful.
Okay.
Bullied. I was bullied. I was thrown into a trash can. I was the shortest kid in my class, the fattest kid in my class, all through elementary school. High school comes around. I don't know anything to do with girls. I'm a huge nerd, still nerd to this day. I mean, hell, I got a fucking little anime figurine right behind me here. Always gonna be a nerd, right? But I remember trying to do a girl's math homework to get a hug, and then she wouldn't hug me afterwards. I remember going to my first party because I had two friends in high school, and one of them finally invited me to a party. I'm so excited to go. And right in front of me, the girl looks at my friend to go, "Why did you invite Jared?" And I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm not meant to be here.
My top liver.
I couldn't find a girl to date. I was going the senior year. I'm a virgin, the only virgin in my class at this point that I know of. And I find a girl willing to go to prom with me in another school. She hasn't heard about my reputation. It was on MySpace because, I'm old. And I get her to finally agree to come to prom with me. And she's excited because she's never been to prom before. And I show up with a date. I'm so excited. I've seen the movies. Prom night. That's where you lose it. That's where you lose the V card. Like this is my time to shine, right?
It's time, baby.
Except she went into the bathroom with another guy, and I found her the next day. He lost his virginity to my prom date. And I had to watch her go into the bathroom with some other guy who was talking to her all night, and then I had to just leave with my tail tucked between my legs. So I was never good with women. I knew it wasn't going anywhere. It was a massive problem. And then finally, I decided to fucking do something about it. And I was in a bookstore, the self-help section. I don't know what I was looking for. I was just
So how old were you at this point?
20 years old.
Okay, 20. Gotcha.
Just started college age. And people are like, it gets better in college. It didn't. I tried to apply for a fraternity. I was the only pledge that was turned down. They said, "Sorry, we don't want your money. We're not," like, like, I'm like, I can't catch a fucking break. I'm like, something is very broken and wrong. I don't understand it, but something is not working. And like a holy Bible, it looked like a Bible. I see this book called The Game, and the Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists. It was written by Neil. It's a phenomenal, well written book, and like many others, it started my journey down this path of where first I was this pickup artist, and I was going out and hooking up with girls and using manipulation and trickery and all that stuff, practical, like, it's straight up manipulation, straight up pickup artist shit. And don't get me wrong, not all of it is bad, and I'm not, I poo-poo on it a lot, but some of it does, to this day, has its merit because, hey, what works, works.
Absolutely.
But I quickly learned, wait a minute, being this pickup artist guy, even though I got known for it and I started coaching it, I was surrounded by a lot of men, not women, ironically. I found all these people around me were dudes, and I'm like, that's not why I started this. I don't wanna be surrounded by these guys who are just manipulating women. So I'm like, "Okay, what if I engineer this?" And I'm like, "What if I just have female friends?" Not girls trying to hook up with, but, like, actual friends, and that's where I had my real renaissance and my awakening to get away from the pickup artist stuff, and I go, "I wanna be the guy that shows up to the bar or club, not with a wingman, but with 6 to 15 wing girls."
Right. That's dope.
And I started building up my social circle, and I got really known in the space because all these guys are teaching how to hook up with all these girls left and right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by them, not, like, I'm like basically like a mini Dan Bilzerian type of lifestyle, right? Like, you're just always around all these different girls. In San Diego, we'd have party buses full of them, me, Drew, and like two of our friends, and like 15 to 30 women. We would bring to the club, and it would roll out the red carpet. And by the way, I was broke as shit. All right.
Well, they don't have to know that, right? They don't have to know that. I wanna hear some of these stories, but I wanna go back a little bit. One thing we missed that I want people to know about you. Where'd you grow up? What city, town? Where are you from originally?
Florida. So
Okay,
I grew up in Plantation. Right now, I'm back, and behind me, this is Fort Lauderdale.
gotcha. So all this is happening in Florida. So, I know you have a psychology background. I wanna dig into that a little bit as well. But one of the things that you mentioned about, like, you went through these, like, there's 3 cycles that, from my understanding of psychology, that most kids go through, and it's during this imprint period, right? And there's 3 phases that we go through. The first phase that a child goes through is they come to this conclusion. It's usually between the age of 0 and 6 or 7, where they make this decision that something's wrong. Nothing's really wrong, but that's just the perception. Something happens that makes them feel like something's wrong. In about middle school, they go through this second phase, which is typically, I don't belong. Think about middle school, you're trying to find your way, you're trying to see where you fit in, what group am I a part of? And then the last one, when you're about 18, 17, 18, especially in the stage when you're ready to leave home, you go into this I'm on my own phase. When you start going off to college, maybe working for yourself, I'm on my own. And these are 3 big trauma spaces. And suddenly you figured out around 18, 20, in your early 20s, you start to the light began to come on for you. But you went through all of these, man, a lot of trauma, a lot of disappointment, a lot of rejection that you went through. So I can see kind of a pathway that led you to where you are. Now, you've been on a bunch of different things, man. I mean, I'm just reading your bio. You've been on MTV, you've been on A&E channel, you've been on ABC, CBS, Oxygen, all these different channels. You've done a lot of stuff. So obviously you have a message and you have something that's really working. Like you said earlier, if it works, leave it alone. Don't fix it. So I want to dive into your psychology background. Tell us a little bit more about your actual going through your history and your bio. You have a nickname, and it's on your books too, called Psych.
Like, yeah, because I was known as my whole background was psychology. So I'm going through grad school, learning pedagogy. My specialty was pedagogy, the psychology of learning.
Gotcha.
And I found that interesting because I'm like, I'm already learning, so because was learning everything about behavioral and social psychology and evolutionary psychology through my pickup artist training. Ironically, I was learning a lot of this stuff through that. So I'm like, how do I go even deeper and better? Let me learn the psychology of learning, because I was a coach at that time and I wanted to be a better coach.
Yeah.
So I was going neck and neck, where I was being a therapist. I was working at a suicide crisis hotline. I don't know why they do this. They just throw you in the deep end. They give you like, I'm fresh, like, I'm just made a therapist, and they're like, deal with people on the phones who want to, and they're like, okay, yeah, I see how they work out. Yeah, I think that system is really broken, but, whatever, like, that's I should have had way more training than I had, but whatever, it is what it is. So I'm doing that, and I'm training to work in, like, school set education departments,
Right.
stuff like that to help, do special testing or whatever, and I'm like, I can make 60, maybe 70 grand a year being a psychologist,
Mhm.
and I was already making 60 grand a year as a coach at the time.
Yeah.
It went bad later on in my journey, and that's a whole other thing of why I started this company.
Right.
But, like, I was like, "This doesn't make sense. I'm already doing what I love. Why don't I just keep doing this and go all in on this versus using my psychology degree and doing something that I'm not even that thrilled out in the first place," right? But tremendously, it helped me understand, like, why things work versus just like pop psychology and bullshit, whatever, where I can be like, no, actually, studies show this. And I understand like the people actually think this way because everyone likes to quote psychology, but very few people really have read the books and done the training and understand what goes like behind it, if that makes sense. So my nickname was Psych.
That's dope. I love it, man. Psych. So, like I said earlier, you can clearly see kind of a pathway where you fell into this space and some of the things you went through, you noticed yourself being around a bunch of guys, and you ended up starting this company called Modern Flirting. Modern Success, I think, maybe the parent company.
It was Modern Flirting, now Modern Success.
Gotcha. So the Modern Flirting piece came out of this, and how did you notice, like, what light went off for you that helped you to see, man, there's a need here. Like, there's something obviously than your own story, but were you seeing a bunch of guys around you who were like trying to figure out how to
Oh,
deploy these tactics? Like, what did you see that needed to be filled?
I've been doing this for nearly 2 decades. So again, I'm 39 now. I've been doing it since I was 20 doing that, like it's basically 2 decades now. So my entire adult life, I've seen the need. I've been around tall guys who were literally I've worked with Abercrombie models. I've worked with guys who are 6'5". I've worked with multimillionaires, guys who own multiple businesses. I've worked with literal Navy SEALs. I've had the government send me a special ops agent who couldn't tell me what he does for the government, but that my type of training was required for his spy job,
Yeah.
whatever that is. And the government paid I'm like, I can't make this shit up. Like, it's crazy. So because people think, oh, Jared, the guys who come to you, they're probably just a bunch of nerds or they really struck out. And granted, some have my background and I help guys who are in deep pain and they really do struggle because this isn't taught to us by mom and dad a lot of
Right.
times. This isn't taught to us by society, not by school, not by the movies. It's so there's a lot of guys who are in pain, but lately, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of guys coming in are really high functioning, high status guys. You would not believe that they would want this kind of service, but they know they're not reaching their potential. They
Yeah.
the car, they got the Rolex, they've got the life, they're in good shape. They're doing their cold plunges. They're doing everything the red pill said. By the way, I've got a personal vendetta against the red pill, which we could talk about,
Yeah, that was a question I had for you. What is that? What does that mean? But
bullshit, whatever. I mean, I can go into all that, but, like, there's guys who, like, eat that up, and then what happens is, like, well, I got the body, I got the money, I got the success. Where are the women? Where show me the women. What there's no women on this yacht. I got this yacht. No girls to fill it up. Or the only women who I do are around are sugar babies. They just want me.
I'm
Very
putting money on my
well,
car,
right?
my own. Yeah.
So I'm over here like, wow, I see these guys who are good looking and successful really struggle. I had a guy he's in his late 50s, hug me, cry on my shoulder, and on his boat, I wouldn't call it a yacht, but I was on a good sized boat, hugging me and just sobbing on my shoulder, going, I have this huge empty house and no one to share it with. And I'm just like, this is like people don't talk about this. We don't see it because they keep quiet because there's a lot of shame being successful, like not having that figured out, right?
Absolutely.
So I see that these tall, good-looking, successful guys struggling. And then I look at me, and at my lowest, before I started my company, I was making like 2 grand a month. In San Diego, that doesn't fly. Like, I was borrowing money left and right, making 2 grand a month living in San Diego, and I was not fat. I was obese. And I'm hooking up with a new girl every week. With a girlfriend, by the way, I have an open relationship, and I'm like, "Why am I able to do this, and these other guys can't?" So, and I knew why. The reason is because all that shit doesn't necessarily matter as much as people think it does. It's about having real game, having people skills that don't only help you with women, but help you. Look, I'm sure you've heard this stat, like, most entrepreneurs, it takes like 5 businesses to get it right. Most, like 90% of guys who start a business, they fail, like drastically, and it takes a couple iterations.
Yes.
This is my first ever business. First ever. I didn't know who Gary Vee was. I didn't know who Grant Cardone was. Didn't know Alex Ramones. I didn't know anything, anything about marketing or operations or none of this shit. And then I was able to scale this to 6 figures in the first 6 months, 7 figures within the first 2-3 years, and then I was able to get multiple 6-figure months now on the book, like my first try. And the reason I bring this up is not to impress people, but to impress on them
Right.
that I contribute all my success to the skills I already had with women. And because women are people, and it's people skills at the end of the day.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. It's so one of the questions I have for you was kind of who's your ideal client, and you just kind of laid it out for us. Is anybody, like, high end guys, anyone who's interested in having someone to share their life with. And that's one of the things I admire about what you do is you help people find the connection. I think one of the things I read in your bio is that you're responsible, that of over like 386 marriages. That's pretty fascinating.
Well, at 400 now. We're almost
Except 400. So it's like, you sound like some of my friends who, ask them how many kids you have, and they'll say, I got 4 that I know of. So I read that. I was like, I got 3, almost 400. So pretty impressive. Now, one of the things that I also found interesting, that you mentioned that AI in the dating world, right? We all know that we're becoming so, AI is so pervasive right now. It's everywhere. You cannot do anything that doesn't have some AI component to it. So tell us about the impact that AI is having on dating. And then I want you to also kind of, I don't know if it dovetails into that, the social circle that you mentioned is so important.
Well, the AI thing, I mean, social circle is my bread and butter. Like, I teach guys how to build a social circle, how to, you start with 2 female friends, because if you have one, it looks like a girlfriend. You get 2 female friends, and then you build up what I call your entourage, which usually gets about 5 to 6 girls that are very, very attractive. And then all of a sudden you have social currency. Once you go and befriend these girls, you can't be the creepy guy anymore that's in a bar, a club, a networking mastermind, pickleball, whatever. You go up and you got 6 girls around you. By definition, you are not creepy. You're not a serial killer. You're not some rapist guy. Every girl knows you're safe, attractive. Something about this guy is here.
Social proof.
It's social proof. Anyone in business understands how powerful social proof is. So this is the dating social proof. And you're just got to be, so I capitalized that on so hard. There was one girl I was dating, it wasn't really dating her, like talking to, and she put a post in a secret female community. This is how powerful this is. There's a Facebook groups out there that like hate on men. They're like, are we dating the same man? I think that's what it's called. Are we dating the same guy?
Right? I've heard of that. Yeah.
And it's just, they just try to bash these men. Like, I dated him and he sucks with this and he sucks with it. I was the only one who was told by a girl, hey, you're on there. And my women rallied and posted positive. Now I'm like the biggest man whore of all these motherfuckers. Like, but because I had these girls, they were posting positive. And the girls like, is this guy paying people to do, like, what is happening? And they're showing me like, I got your back. I'll say something good. I dated this guy and he's fucking phenomenal. Like, that's the power of our dialed in like social circle.
Well, how do you, but Derek, like, I get that. How do you take a guy who that's just not who he is? Like, you say build your entourage. You got a client like, this guy's loner, has never really dated anyone. Maybe he's still a virgin at 28, 29, 30, whatever it might be. How do you get a guy like that to build an entourage? Like, what kind of work do you have to do with a person to go out and actually put themselves in a position to now actually build a group of 5, 6, 7, 8 beautiful women around?
Well, that's first, we got to assume that's what they want. Everybody comes from a different goal. Some guys don't want an entourage. You're like, Jared, I just want my soulmate. I just want to go and meet a great girl and awesome. And I'm happy for them. Go on a date, meet a great girl, done, right? Other guys, they're like, listen, I'm way too busy for that shit. I only want to do online dating. Okay, let's revamp your profile. I'll give you 10, 20 matches a week, which, by the way, is the proper KPIs. Get 10, 20 matches a week. As we go through your funnel, that'll get you 2 to 3 dates a week. And you're like, this is awesome. And I'm happy. So, but the guys who want to be local celebrities and legends in their like, this is what it's gonna take, and it's not that hard. Okay, I shouldn't say that. It's very hard, but it's not as complex as we make it out to be. It really just starts with get your ass out of the house, approach women the right way, get these 2 female friends, find them. They can already be friends together. That's usually how it starts. And then you go out with these girls and you just keep meeting other girls that they mesh with, because women can make friends with other women. So once you get the hardest part is getting the 2. Once you got the 2, you get a group chat going called the entourage or whatever, and you add other, and there's 3 rules for the entourage. And I tell the girls this: you have to be attractive, you have to not cause any drama amongst the other girls, and you have to be a walking vibe. When we go out, we are the party. These are just my 3 rules I made up with. Every girl knew it, and I gave them safety, I gave them, like, protection, I made sure I was their wingman sometimes and would, like, help them meet or the other guys. Sometimes if there was drama between a girl and a guy, I could step in and diffuse it as another man, be like, "Bro, don't even worry about her," but, like, she's with me, and, like, men get a certain respect from other men that women just don't. So women get privilege, men get respect. When you put us together, the respect the guys are giving me, or even if they didn't get along with one of my girls, they're like, "But Jared's my boy, and I don't wanna piss off Jared because he introduced me to other girls," then my girl's not left out of the party, and the guy so there's, like, politics, social politics and shit that goes into it, but the point is, once you can make those friendships, I mean, I was invited on private planes. I went on 100-foot yachts to the Bahamas with hot tubs on it. I had every night on Friday, we went to Omni, had the free table waiting for me. That was more than my life savings. At the time, um, it's just shenanigans.
You that guy that everybody wants to go out with because he knows everybody at the front door of the club. He's gonna get everybody in. With drinks are gonna be flowing. It's gonna be the vibe. That's what
I call it a local celebrity because when I was in San Diego, I could not, and again, I'm not trying to brag, but, like, this is facts. Me in San Diego, 2019, if I was walking down the road, every 2 blocks, someone would come up to me and recognize me and talk to me. Either in the party scene, in the pickup scene, the entrepreneur scene, whatever. But, like, I call it being a local celebrity where you are so dialed in the social circle of your city that people in that city, there's a lot of people who know who you are that you have no idea who they are.
absolutely.
You just make yourself, like, a local famous.
So I want to go back to so you talked about helping them build a funnel to bend, I think 10 to 20 matches a week. Does AI play a role in that? Is that coming that where does that show up?
It's dominating. I'm very bullish on AI. Let's just and everything, in business and dating. It is the next internet. AI is gonna have the same impact on society, on dating. And it's like saying, "Do you think the internet's gonna change the way we date?" Of course it did, right? I mean,
Sure.
I remember, I mean, not pre-internet, but, like, you remember dating before the smartphones and, like, the ads,
Oh,
and
it's the internet, man.
I mean,
It was here.
we had to go out and get, numbers on napkins and paper. I had to carry a pen on me to make sure I can get a girl's phone number, right?
That's right.
So the internet had a major impact. AI is doing the same thing. What AI is able to do, so for example, I have Jared AI. What I've done is I've taken all of my trainings, all of my master classes, I condense it into a knowledge base with my own prompting, and I've been able to insert in GPT so it can give you an answer, anything I would come up with, and it can invent new shit. So I can literally feed it what I'm thinking, and then it can create lead gens for me, new routine based on my trainings. It can logically come up with new stuff all the time. You can upload a screenshot of your text messages and you can ask Jared AI, like, what do I respond back? Something playful and maybe a little bit flirty, and generate 5 different styles of flirting. And then you see the 5 styles, you go, I like number 4. Give me 5 versions that are like number 4. And of those 5, I really like that one. Okay, I'm gonna go copy and paste that one. Like,
It really
it's
is.
nutty. Women are using it. I'm catching women. Now, if you use general ChatGPT, it doesn't work because it's gonna give you, like, Google type of answers, right? But when you understand how to get specialized, what's called AI agents to work for you in your business or to work for you in your dating, oh my God. I mean, the
It's like having a coach on your side at all times, right? Having somebody to
yeah,
kind of
but
walk a hitch.
you can have it be you. You can have an AI agent uploaded with all your personality traits, quirks. You can literally just, you can literally ask AI, I want to make an AI agent version of myself that's going to be in the dating market. Generate 50 questions for me to answer so that you would know exactly the kind of guy I am and what kind of girl I want. And then it'll generate those questions. And then you will answer all those questions and go, based on these answers, these questions, generate an AI agent, a digital version of me that will actually swipe on apps and converse with the women for me. And set up, so eventually dating is going to be just AI agents talking to each other and alerting us when it thinks we've got a good match. Like,
That's crazy though. I mean, because at some point, right? Yeah, you can hide behind the digital agent, but at some point, the real person has to emerge, and you're gonna have to carry on that conversation. So if you've been having AI speak for you this whole time, you get in front of somebody, and you ain't really that swaggy, it ain't gonna work. Is my thinking.
so
You know.
that's becoming the norm now. It's called emotional or personality catfish. There's literally now personality catfishing that is going on where the girl will meet the guy on the date and they'll go, you are not, and vice versa. And the girl is like, you are nothing like you were texting. Is not the person. And it's a
Exactly.
personality catfish. And that's a literal problem that's happening in today's market because of AI.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I'm me personally. I'm a soft fan of AI. I think it's a slippery slope. Tons of benefits for obviously many different reasons. And I think I was watching a podcast clip last week or a few days ago, and the guy was talking about, it was a software engineer, and he was talking about how they had programmed an AI to shut itself off, right, at a certain time. Well, it didn't shut itself off, and it was rewriting the software to resist turning itself off. And then what it did, it created a campaign and sent out a mass spam email to everyone on the guy's email chain that said that the guy was having an affair on his wife. So literally the AI was trying to blackmail the guy through email.
Yeah.
Insane. And then he said he tried to, it actually, when they finally got it to shut off, before they got it to shut off finally, it had already sent messages around to, and made copies of itself and sent messages around of how to turn itself back on if it's turned off again. So I think it's a slippery slope. I think it's highly beneficial, and I agree with you. It is the next internet. I remember there was a website called blackplanet.com. Is where I met my second wife on. So when I said between the internet and applications that we have right now, the internet was the place to go. These websites you could go on, right, and meet people. So I remember that as well. So man, as far as running a business, you said you'd never run a business, before. What has been one of the most challenging things about for you from running a business?
Where is
What do you?
right? Where do you start? It's all of it, man. I mean, every tier going to 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K, 150, 200,
Yeah.
a grand a month. Like,
Right.
everyone has its own challenges. I mean,
Yeah.
I would think, you know what, for me, okay, I'll give you a tactical one that's always bothered me, and then I'll give a internal one. Internal one was being really good at doing something yourself and then removing yourself from the process and being able to pass the ball and raising up other A players around you, whether it's finding them or growing them. It's very frustrating when you're like, I can do it, I do it, when I touch it, it's gold, and then I pass the ball and it's like, come on, like, so,
Yes.
and I look at my team now and I'm very proud of, what we've been able to build and grow and do. And some members are gone that, almost everyone I started with this journey with in the company is gone at this point. But there are some that were around for years now and have grown, and there's other superstars that just came. So it's really, it's a proud feeling seeing them succeed and excel at their area where it's like, I was able to do it, but now it's not about me, it's about them being able to do it. And that's a really tough pill for solopreneurs to swallow when you realize you can't do it all yourself. You got to build a team. Doesn't matter how smart and gifted you are, you have to build a team. So that was a challenge. And for whatever reason in my business, a big tactical challenge is always running paid ads. Paid ads, cracking paid ads was like the bane of my existence. It's still fucking annoying, but
Yeah.
we're finally scaling.
Finally breaking through. Huh? Yeah, I dig it, man. I'm with you that, and we're kind of in the same boat when it comes to that piece. So, man, really, really amazing. I think you're doing some really great stuff, helping a lot of people, and so I had a proposition for you here on this podcast before we wrap up here.
Sure.
So here's the thing: you got about 400 people that you're responsible for connecting, right? So
Well, no,
it's
in terms of students, I think we're just north of 6,000 students that I've had over my 2 decades.
we're just talking about marriages. I'm thinking about I'm being personal right now. This is for Coach B.
Okay.
So you got about 400 people that you. So I think we can create some kind of a partnership because we want to make sure these people stay together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can provide some relationship marriage coaching or other people that you actually get married, and we can have some kind of a deal working. So let's talk about that a little bit offline and see what we can create around that, man. I'd love to support some of your clients.
Do you know the Gottman method?
I don't. I'm not familiar with it. No.
It's one of the most powerful marriage counseling, psychology. I would definitely look into that, and it was started in India, I think, but it made its way to the psychology world, and it's just the most empirically proven one. It started as like a
Yeah.
woo or whatever, but then they're like, let's test it, and it's the most empirically backed methodology for keeping couples together. It's called the Gottman method.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, my coaching is founded in ontology. I would imagine there's probably some ontological concepts probably built within that Gottman method. It's everywhere, and people don't really know what it is because you can't distinguish it if you haven't studied it.
Right.
But that's where a lot of my coaching philosophy comes from. Man, look, bro, it's been an amazing conversation with you today, man. Lots to share, a ton of value for the listeners today. If someone is interested in joining one of your programs, man, or doing some one-to-one work with you or group coaching, workshops that you might be doing to help them go out and find either that love of their life or maybe just want to be the life of the party, how can they find you on social media? How can they get connected with you and learn more about what you do?
I'm a little bit of everywhere. I mean, themodernsuccess.com, my website. I mean, I think the best way is just message me directly on Instagram. You can just message me the word action, and I'll get them in touch with a former student of mine, somebody from my team who was a student who's been through it all. And it's a free call. It's not a sales call. I hate when there's like that bait and switch bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just a way to have my guys hear what you're going through, and then they customize the training that they send to each guy based on what they're dealing with. And then from there, maybe they'll recommend they talk with either me or one of their coaches or something, and we can see if they're a good fit for the program. But I always believe in value first. I'm a big Hormozy fan, and I love his approach, his way, my approach with women and everything. So I will not accept any calls to talk about my program if they haven't gone through at least some of my free stuff, main content, and so they know I am their guy. I want to make sure for free I'm able to help someone before they ever need to even think about investing in me. So I think that's the best way to tip your toe in the water. Get a free, it's like 15 minutes, customized call, get your custom training, and then from there, if you want more, you can get more.
Outstanding. So it's Modern Flirting on Instagram. They send you that.
It's Modern Success now.
Modern Success on Instagram. Send Jared and his team.
Or Instagram?
Yeah.
Sorry, so for Instagram, the company's Modern Success, but find me at the Jared Laurence, Laurence. It's at the Jared Laurence. There's some other fake accounts. It's the one over that has over 150,000 followers. At the Jared Laurence with a U.
Love it. We'll make sure we put a little overlay on the recording and make sure we got it right, man. Well, Jared, it's been an amazing conversation, man. Again, thank you so much for sharing what you do, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing for men, man. I think that, being rejected and some of the things that we go through in our very early developmental years certainly can have a lasting impact on us. You end up kind of running and having anxiety, and I don't know what to say to her, and you're stumbling over your words, and so you're helping guys really find themselves, find that confidence, and find what they want, man. So I appreciate all the work you're doing.
Well,
thanks for the show, man. I appreciate it. And hey, come back and visit us again sometime, man, and share some more success stories. Love to have you on again.
Anytime, man. Thank you for having me.
Take care, brother. Bye-bye. This is Doris Brown's baby boy. We out.